Mom, can we get some precure?
We have precure at home, sweetheart.
Fine. Damn it.
Hello, everyone. Bubbling Moon back again with another magical garbage video. Today we're going to be talking about the Korean magical girl show, Flowering Heart. It's a show about 3 cute girls who transform into adults with jobs to help people who have fallen into despair. And if you're anything like me the first time I heard this premise, you're probably thinking, oh, well, that doesn't sound too bad. I could probably just enjoy an afternoon watching this mindlessly. Don't worry, they fumble this show real hard. The tone of this show is usually like super little kid oriented, but man, do they really pack some inappropriate stuff in this cutesy package. So to familiarize everybody with the worst aspect of this show, we're going to play a quick little game. If you'd like to participate, you can pause the video and respond in the comments with what you think the answers are. Alright, so what age do you think these 3 characters are? Go ahead and pause the video because the answer is incoming in 3, 2, 1. That's right. She's 12, he's 13, and he's 17. Why is this a problem? Because these 3 characters are in a love triangle. And it's not like it's just some one-sided affection from a young kid toward an older teenager. That's not what this is. These are reciprocal feelings. All 3 of these characters fantasize about each other. First of all, this one does not look 13. And this isn't just how the show draws boys either. Like this. This is a 12-year-old boy. There is too much difference between these 2 character designs. This one looks like he's about to enter middle school. This one looks like he's about to get abused by the K-pop industry. And this one, the 17-year-old. It's not enough that he's just a part of the love triangle, but from what I can tell, he is the true love interest. Like, he is the male lead and the blonde one's the second male lead. Whoever thought of this should be put on a list. Who okayed this for a kids' TV show? And I don't want to hear anything about, oh, Korean people measure age differently than we do. Because yeah, whatever. Even if his international age is 15, this is still wildly inappropriate. And if his international age could be 15, then Ari's international age could be 10. Okay, now that we've gone over the main problem with this show, let's start talking about the characters. First up, we have Ari, the one who's in the inappropriate love triangle. She's our main character because she's the pink one. Then we have one of her friends, Suha. She's the bookworm. And then we have Min, who is the sporty one. And that's really all there is to their characters. Like, I really like the character designs. Yeah, they're very simple, but they don't need to be complex. The problem is, there's nothing more to these characters. They're very one note each. Then we have Chess, or Tubby, depending on which form he's in, and he is the true heir to the throne of Flowering Kingdom in the world of magic. And I'm gonna let him give his backstory to you.
While I was being chased by soldiers in Flowering Kingdom, I fell off a cliff. When I woke up, I had been transformed into a hamster. I don't know how or why.
Right. So after he gets to the human world, he starts living in Ari's bedroom. And yes, that's just as creepy as you think it is. Especially because he's not always a blue hamster, and sometimes he just watches her sleep. Some real Edward Cullen vibes here.
痛くなる。あったか。子供って体温高いのな。人間湯たんぽって感じ。
Then we have the unfortunately named Prince Trump. Trump is also a prince of Flowering Kingdom, and I think he's Chess's half-brother. They kind of hint at that, but they never really come out and say it. He was banished a while back to the human world.
For Prince Chess to succeed to the throne without opposition, my own son Trump must be removed from Flowering Kingdom.
But the whole plan was for the evil queen to bring him back one day and make him the true heir, and it's just a lot of nonsense, really. He's a super wishy-washy character, and I really don't like him. He's always changing his mind about wanting to collect hopeless energy. He does want to collect it, he doesn't want to collect it, he wants to collect it, but not the specific kind that's being put off. Whatever, dude, make up your mind. And even though on paper he seems like the better love interest because of his age, he still looks like a 20-year-old dude, so I'm not a fan of this. I mean, really, no one else in this school looks like he does. We never see a single character who's like the same height as him in any of the classes. Up next is Shuel.
Well, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. My name is Shuel.
And out of all the characters, she really has the most going on as far as like character development and character motivations. So she is also from the world of magic. She's supposed to be the next queen of Flowering Kingdom, and even though her fiancé is supposed to be Prince Chess, she doesn't really seem to mind when her fiancé is switched to Prince Trump, as long as she still gets to be the queen.
Because Trump is the sole heir to the throne now.
She has a backstory about her family ditching her at the palace and her being raised in the palace more as a sister to the princes than anything else. So when the plot of the show kicks off, she's sent to the human world to go collect hopeless energy so that they can wither the heart flower. And don't worry about the heart flower. In season 1, it's not really super important. Shuel's main power, other than transforming into an adult with a job, is just being a snide bitch to people.
Do you think your gift will make her forgive you?
What?
So tell me, do you really think a tacky necklace made with broken seashells is enough to make your sister forgive you?
Like, I like Shuel as a character, but sometimes some of the things she says to and about people just really makes me, like, seethe with hatred over her. It's also worth noting that the entire time both Trump and Shuel are in the human world, Chess knows exactly what they're up to, and he just never tells the main 3 girls what's going on with them. The next important character is Queen Beryl. I know that's not her name, but she's essentially just a watered-down version of the enemy from season 1 of Sailor Moon, so I'm just gonna call her Queen Beryl because it's a struggle to remember her name, honestly. Last, and most certainly least, is Mao. I hate this cat. I have never hated a cat like I hate this cat. Because they gave it a girl voice, they gave it an hourglass figure. This design element bugs me so much, and I know it's so small, and Mao is barely even an important character in this show. But I cannot stand the way they made this cat, quote-unquote, sexy. Like, look at the way it's sitting. God, this is awful. So now that we're done talking about the important characters, let's talk about the only reason anybody would ever tune in for this show. The magic. Magical girl shows live and die on how good the, magic and lore and action is. Magic in this show can be divided up into 2 categories: hopeless magic and hopeful magic. So, hopeless magic is obviously what the villains want. They're trying to wilt the heart flower. And hopeful magic is what the main characters are after. They want to make everybody feel good about themselves, love their job, and that's a fine enough premise. Sometimes it kind of reads like Paw Patrol with a coat of magical girl paint on it.
We've become firefighters who rescue people.
Excellent.
Other times it kind of feels like government propaganda, being like, you could be a police officer. But I can kind of hand wave that. This show skews toward a younger audience, so that's not a terrible message to have. The problem is, it's boring. Time and time again, people watch magical girl shows for the cute outfits, the fun fight scenes, and the heartfelt resolutions to problems. This show has no set outfit for these girls. Like, look at these promotional pictures for this show. They're never in these outfits, at least not in season 1. There are outfits that look similar, but Purple Girl never gets to wear one. There are also no monsters to fight. There are absolutely no fight scenes in this whole show. So a typical episode of this show goes in this pattern. The girls are just hanging out doing something. They come across somebody who's having a rough time at their job or just with something they're trying to do. They notice the person seems hopeless, so they use their magic to transform into an adult with a career to help them out. But when the person who is like depressed and having a hard time is wallowing in their self-pity, we see manifestations of their negative emotions, and they actually look pretty cool. It would have been awesome if they had utilized these designs in some kind of a fight scene or something. You know, something to bust up the show a little bit, put some action in there. But no, they just stop being sad as soon as the girls show up to help, and that's the resolution. Man, even Friendship is Magic had action scenes every once in a while. So their main power is basically just a knockoff of Sailor Moon's disguise pin. The transformations themselves are alright. I mean, it's nothing mind-blowing. You won't want to write home in a frenzy about it, but they're okay for what they are. The effects look nice. So let's get into talking about the actual episodes. I watched them on YouTube, and I think the format might be slightly different on YouTube than it is on other platforms, because they have cut 13 episodes into 26 episodes, literally just by cutting the episode in half, and it makes for some really awkward storytelling sometimes. And sure, you can just binge them one after the other, but it just makes it seem like episodes are ending without any real resolution sometimes. Episode 1 and 2 are okay. Ari, Suha, and Min all have a teacher who has no confidence in herself.
Tell us about your first love. Tell us! Tell us!
So Ari transforms into a teacher. This actually ends up making the teacher more upset though, and this is the only time in the entire series where this happens. Her negative energy manifests into a little wasp creature, and it's the fact that the wasp creature is attacking her students that gives her the courage to, I guess, hit a wasp and be a teacher again. Then there's episode 3 and 4, and there's actually not too much to say about this episode. The reason why I'm bringing it up, though, is because of the weird character design going on here. So the character they're helping in this episode's name is Lila. She's a pop singer, and I don't really like her character design. Like, yeah, she's cute, but she's supposed to be a pop singer who's super popular with, like, 12-year-olds. She should have had a much softer look, especially when you hear her singing.
Back then I could not say anything out loud.
And I'm not going to, comment on the singing too much because God knows I can't sing. But what about this gentle, uplifting song sung in a soft voice made them think, yes, short shorts, a tube top, and cleavage. That's what little kids want to see. I really don't like her personality either. Like, I get that she's upset right now, but she still picks a fight with one of the younger singers, and then she assaults her and never apologizes. And then later, that singer sees her performing, and she's like, oh wow, she's amazing. I guess I did deserve to get abused. This whole episode was low-key about how the music industry will use you up and then toss you aside after you're no longer worth anything to them. But that's a bit too depressing for kids, so we put a real happy coat of paint across it to try and disguise it. So episode 5 and 6 made me really nervous because I saw the title and it's called Diet of Despair. I don't really think a kid's show is the proper medium to be talking about, like, dieting and weight problems. Like, yes, kids aren't stupid and we need to teach them important lessons about life, but a subpar magical girl show is maybe not where you want to get advice about diet and exercise. So the person that they're helping in this episode is named Chuyun. She is the only larger person in their class. And I would say a good 90% of this episode is dedicated to her trying to lose weight. This just feels kind of gross to me. I am not a medical professional, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. Health and body size are extremely individualized topics. But especially when it comes to growing children, you should always consult a professional. So the way this show kind of promotes the idea in the first half of you should go on a calorie restricting diet and exercise a lot is just very gross to me. Like, yes, this is the very basics of how weight loss is achieved, but there are a million factors that can go into your body shape. And her class is full of body-shaming assholes. Especially this little jerk.
Don't be upset if your numbers are different than Shuel's.
So the entire reason Chuyun wants to lose some weight and feel more confident in herself is she has a crush on a boy and she wants to confess, and she doesn't think that he would like her if she is the size that she is. And I will say this about the boy she has a crush on, he does seem pretty nice. Yes, he could have been more vocal about his support of her and getting the other kids to stop bullying her, but he is a child, so I am gonna cut him just a little bit of slack with this. However, she finds out that he's moving away and she loses all motivation to diet, and I don't like this because any kind of self-improvement should be for yourself. Changing yourself for another person is never a good message, even if that change is trying to quote-unquote become healthier. However, at the very last moment, episode 6 takes a turn and becomes about what it should have been about the entire time, and that is self-confidence. They completely shift focus from losing weight to improving her self-image, which I really like and would have appreciated if that's what it was about the entire time. Ari turns into a stylist and she does her hair, gives her a cute outfit, and yeah, I like this. She manages to confess to the boy she likes right before he moves, and they promise to keep in contact, and it's actually a pretty cute moment. The show even ends on the message that I, as a hairstylist, would tell people constantly. It doesn't matter what you change about yourself, if you aren't comfortable, you're not going to look good. And that is always true. You can have the most polished style in the world, and you are still going to look bad if you feel bad. So yeah, episode 5 and 6, only mildly inappropriate, not bad by this show's standards. The next couple episodes that I want to talk about that are actually just one episode cut in half is 19 and 20. In this, the girls go to an amusement park, and Ari and Chess have a little date that gets crashed by Trump. The montage of Ari and Chess having like a lovey-dovey date makes my skin crawl. Just to put it on the record, there's actually way more like romantic montages and subplots in this show that I am not covering just for sake of time. Like in the later half of season 1, Shuel really brings some K-drama energy to the table when she's like, "Stay away from my fiancé, Prince Trump. He's mine." And it's like, girl, you're 12, calm down. So when Ari and Trump are on the Ferris wheel together, Chess sees them and he's like, "Oh, I got my hopes up for nothing. He's the one that she likes." And like, dude, you're 17. Go to jail. let's talk about the weird tone this show has. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because all of the listings for these shows on YouTube say shows for tweens, and I generally consider tweens to be between 11 and 12, and I can't see this show being a hit with anybody like above the age of 9. Like, the writing is very ham-fisted, there's no subtlety, there's no nuance, everybody's just like, I feel this way. Well, I feel this way. Well, that's not good. That's bad.
We've become firefighters who rescue people. Excellent.
It's all just super on the nose and juvenile, which makes the radical shifts in tone from inoffensive kiddie garbage to straight up depression very jarring. So in episode 13 and 14, the whole plot is about these two sisters who are fighting over a necklace. The younger sister wants to make up with the older sister, so she tries to collect some seashells to make a necklace, and Shuel does her typical gaslighting thing, causing extreme depression in this small child. And then we see her walking toward the sea. The very next time it cuts to this character, she is like drowning and struggling to stay above the water. Did Shuel make this child so depressed that she decided to just be like, nah, I'm gonna end it all. Bye, world. And like, of course she gets saved, but that still just seems like a really, really messed up plotline to have in this show for children. The last 2 episodes of season 1 are extremely sad as well. So over the course of season 1, we've seen little snippets of Ari with her dog Happy. Nothing too major, just little snippets here and there. So of course Happy makes an appearance in the episode that's about an animal rescue center. At the same time, Shuel is working on a plot to steal Happy and hide him in the world of magic. You know, she's not trying to be that evil, she just wants to complete her mission and do the bidding of Queen Beryl. So I wasn't really all that worried when I saw Happy running across the street, because there's no way this kid's show is going to do anything to this sweet little... Oh my god, they actually did it. They ran over that sweet little dog. So this is what the finale of the show is all about. Ari has a severe case of magical depression because her doggie is in the ICU. Shuel is in turmoil because she didn't want things to escalate this far. Prince Trump is still being incredibly obtuse because he wants Ari to suffer, and then he's mad at Shuel for causing Ari to suffer. Like, dude, pick a side. Suha and Min are trying to comfort Ari, and Chess is just flying around lecturing people on how to be a good person. Yes, this is exactly who I want to get a lecture from. A 17-year-old who's trying to date a 12-year-old. Paragon of virtue right here. Queen Beryl summons Shuel and says that she only has one more chance. She better kill that dog. But of course Shuel decides that she wants to become real friends with the girls, so she uses up the last of her magic powers to heal Happy, and we get a nice resolution where everybody's watching the fireworks, and we get a little glimmer of some magic in her ring letting us know that yes, she is still gonna have magic in season 2. Man, what a terrible show. Yeah, not everything about this show is 100% awful. The character designs are kind of all over the place sometimes, but the visuals are overall fine. There's some good background music, and the overall premise is not that bad. But the execution just falls flat on its face. I really can't recommend this show, because in between the inappropriate relationships, weird dramatic shifts in tone, and how boring it is. I mean, there are no fight scenes. We don't get any cute magical girl outfits. They just transform into upstanding professionals.
We've become firefighters who rescue people. Excellent.
Anything in this show that doesn't make you raise an eyebrow in apprehension is going to make you yawn from sheer uninterest. If you really wanted to watch this show, my recommendation would be to have two computers, one showing Paw Patrol, the other showing Precure, and just like sit in between them and cross your eyes. That'll be a much more entertaining sit, I think. But that's pretty much all I really have to say about Season 1. I might do a video on Season 2 of Flowering Heart eventually, especially if this video does well. But now it's time to hold a vote for the next episode of Magical Garbage. Just like last time, we're going to be having a vote on the pinned comment down in the comment section, and we're going to have 3 choices. The choices this time are Sky Dancers, a magical girl show from the 90s that I used to be obsessed with, where you too can find out what it would be like to bring your mother along on magical girl missions. Option 2, the Miraculous Ladybug movie. You know, when your magical girl show just has way too much baggage, so you just want to wipe the slate clean and just start over from scratch. The final one up for vote is Yuri Kuma Arashi. I love this show, you guys. The idea of bears becoming lesbian magical girls is amazing. It's flawless. It's just the best. Thank you all so much for watching, especially if you've made it to this point in the video. If you liked the video, consider giving it a like. It helps with the algorithm and whatnot. If you've got something to say, leave it down in the comments, especially if you've got a recommendation for a magical girl show or property I should take a look at. And subscribe if you feel like it. I don't know. Well, that pretty much does it for me. Peace out.